Such is the level of respect that Lionel Messi commands among colleagues, fans, coaches, opponents, and football analysts from all around the globe. In today's episode of the Player Portrait series, we'll look at the interesting career journey of Lionel Messi. For a long time, it was impossible to imagine Messi in any club other than Barcelona until he made the switch to PSG in 2021. While watching this video, think about his eventual move away from Barcelona and let us know what you think in the comment section below. Was it worth it? Is PSG the right choice? What if he'd made the move earlier? Or should he have stayed at Barcelona? You be the judge of that. Early life. Argentina has always been a powerhouse in football, with superstars like Alfredo Di Stefano and Maradona. Di Stefano was great by all standards, but in Maradona, Argentines thought they had found the greatest player in history. And to be fair to them, Diego Armando Maradona was exceptionally good. Words are not enough to describe how he moved on and off the ball. His solo runs, eye for goal, and deft touches, they are better watched than described. But 1 year after Maradona led Argentina to win the 1986 World Cup final against West Germany, another footballing star that would go on to rival his own achievements with the La Albiceleste was born. His name, Lionel Andres Messi. Born on June 24, 1987 in Rosario, Argentina, Lionel Messi is perhaps the greatest footballer of all time. His father, Jorge Messi, a steel worker, was a sucker for the game and a staunch Newell's Old Boys fan. This helped Messi grow naturally into the sport. Messi's love for football was never in doubt, even as a kid. However, his personal journey with the round leather game began when he was gifted one. "I got given my first football when I was very young, 3 maybe, or 4, Messi said a few years ago. It was a present, and from then on, it was the only present I ever wanted, Christmas, birthday, or whatever, a ball." Messi and his brothers, sometimes in the company of older siblings, attended games of a small local club named Grandoli. During one of those visits, Grandoli's youth coach at the time, Salvador Aparicio, realized he needed an extra player. "I looked up to the stands and saw him playing with the ball," Aparicio told Goal in an interview. "But he was so small, so we decided to wait for the other player to turn up, but they didn't. So I asked Lionel's mother if I could borrow him. Messi's mom objected, and quite understandably, because the mercurial Argentine was only 5 years old and he had never played in a competitive match before. However, his grandmother gave her consent, and Salvador Aparicio got his way. The first time the ball came to him, he just looked at it and let it pass. He didn't even move. But the next time the ball came to him, it virtually hit him on the left leg. Then he controlled it and started running across the pitch. He dribbled past everyone, crossing his path. I was screaming for him to shoot, but he was too small. Ever since that day, he was always in my team." Later in the youth teams, he scored 6 or 7 goals in every match, Aparicio added. He was supernatural. Soon, the world would be at his feet, and he'd go on to shoot himself to stardom, but he needed to secure a move abroad first. The Machine of 87. Wooed by his father's love for the club, Lionel Messi began supporting Newell's Old Boys and eventually signed for the club at the age of 9. At Newell's, he teamed up with other fantastic players like himself, who were all born in 1987, and together they formed a special group called Máquina de la 87, which means the Machine of 87. True to their name, they played like robots, smashing teams for fun and only losing once in 4 years. Of course, Messi was the star of the bunch, scoring almost 500 goals in his 6-year stint with the Rosario-based club. Newell's Old Boys youth coach at the time, Adrian Correa, said, "When you saw him, you would think, this kid can't play ball. He's a dwarf. He's too fragile, too small. But immediately, you'd realize that he was born different, that he was a phenomenon, and that he was going to be something impressive." Everyone had their own opinion about the young Lionel Messi, but there was an unofficial consensus that he was destined for greatness. Nonetheless, there was a real worry that he might not fulfill those lofty potentials after medical examinations showed that he was suffering from a growth hormone deficiency at the age of 11. Newell's Old Boys tried to salvage the situation, but the cost was beyond their financial means. Messi's treatment procedure included taking painful injections every other night at the expense of $1,000 per month. His father, Jorge Messi, had a health insurance plan that would cover the medical costs for the next 2 years, but a long-term solution was needed. Desperate to find one, Jorge offered a 13-year-old Lionel Messi to River Plate. His performances during trials were mesmerizing, but the club were unwilling to match the demands of Messi's father, which included a job and house in the Argentine capital city of Buenos Aires. The move offshore. After the disappointment with River Plate, Jorge Messi needed to find a more creative way to sell Lionel Messi. So he made a video of the youngster juggling an orange 133 times in a row and a tennis ball 120 times. The clip was sent through intermediaries to Barcelona scout Josep Minguella, which was enough to get the club's attention. Messi, together with his father and one of the intermediaries, Fabian Soldini, travelled to Barcelona for the trial. Barcelona's technical director at the time, Charlie Resac, watched Messi do his thing for 10 minutes and left. Messi's entourage viewed this as another rejection, but it turns out they were wrong. "After 2 minutes, I knew," Resac said. Anyone would have said the same. However, he struggled to convince club president Joan Gaspart and his colleagues who sat on the board of Barcelona. So, following a game of tennis on the 14th of December 2000, Gagioli and Josep Maria Minguella threatened Barcelona technical director Charlie Resac that they'd offer Messi to Real Madrid. Fearful of how this would be viewed by the fans, Resac agreed to commit to a deal, and with no paper in sight, he opted to sign perhaps the most iconic contract in football on a piece of napkin. It read, "In Barcelona on December 14th, 2000, and in the presence of Messrs. Minguella and Horacio, Carlos Resac, technical secretary of FCB, is committed under his responsibility and despite some opinions against signing the player Lionel Messi as long as we maintain the agreed amounts." Gagioli kept the napkin and has since deposited it with the Credit Andorra Bank. Tough beginnings. His Barcelona career didn't start as he would have loved. He became homesick when his mum returned to Argentina, and due to the complications surrounding his deal and his citizenship, Messi could only feature in the Catalan League and friendlies. Recalling his struggles, Messi said, "I made a lot of sacrifices by leaving Argentina, leaving my family to start a new life, but everything I did for football, to achieve my dream. That's why I didn't go out partying or do a lot of other things." Rise to stardom. In 2002, he completed his growth hormone treatment and officially became a member of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, allowing him to join the Barcelona Academy, where he would link up with the likes of Cesc Fabregas and Gerard Piqué. In no time, Messi became a marvel within the Barcelona youth ranks and was sometimes involved in training with the senior team. At 16, he made his debut for the first team in a friendly match against Porto in 2003. 1 year later, he signed his first professional contract with Barcelona, with an initial buyout clause of €30 million, which would eventually rise to €80 million. At 17 years, 3 months, and 22 days old, Lionel Messi made his first competitive debut with the first team against Albacete, and as expected, he marked the occasion with a lovely chip over the goalkeeper. It was the first of the 672 goals he would go on to score at the club, but it was one of the most iconic. The assist was provided by the magical Ronaldinho, who weaved past a couple of players before lobbing the ball over the defence, placing it on a platter for Lionel Messi, who made no mistake with a brilliant chip over the advancing goalkeeper. He wheeled away in jubilation before hopping onto the back of Ronaldinho, who looked super excited for the youngster. The board members who questioned this signing back in 2000 were in the stands to witness what looked like the start of a new era. Evolution into a superstar. On his 18th birthday in 2005, Messi signed his first contract as a first-team player with Barcelona. The fans fell in love with him. His teammates adored him. Ronaldinho described him as his little brother. All was set for Messi to take the world by storm, but the Barcelona team didn't look like they were ready to sail. Messi scored 17 goals in the 2006-2007 season, including the solo goal reminiscent of Diego Maradona's brilliant effort against England at the 1986 World Cup, but it wasn't enough to fire Barcelona to titles. Then came Pep Guardiola. who ushered in the new era that the fans had hoped for. Club legend Ronaldinho, alongside Deco and others, was eased off, leaving room for a 21-year-old Messi to inherit the number 10 jersey and become the club's highest earner. This, coupled with a change of training routine, saw Barcelona claim the treble in the 2008-2009 season, with Messi contributing 38 goals. The new era was in full swing. Another change in tactics saw Messi become a false nine. The result was devastating for opponents, including bitter rivals Real Madrid, who lost 6-2 at the Bernabeu to a Messi-led Barcelona. His status as a superstar was confirmed later that year when he won the first of his 7 Ballon d'Or awards at the age of 22. His goal tally continued to rise from 38 in the 2008-9 season to 47 in 2009-10 and 53 in 2010-11. Comparison with Maradona. Over the course of his hugely successful career, Messi has drawn plenty of comparisons with Diego Maradona. It remains a hotly debated topic even to this day. In terms of stats, Messi certainly has the edge, but most people who choose Maradona often point to his graciousness on the ball. But long before his death, Maradona himself held Messi in high regard. I have seen the player who will inherit my place in Argentine football, and his name is Messi. Messi is a genius, and he can become an even better player, Maradona said. His potential is limitless, and I think he's got everything it takes to become Argentina's greatest player. There's no doubt Messi has all the quality in the world to reach that feat, and some will argue that he has surpassed it already, but opinions remain divided on this issue. In fact, Diego Maradona seems to sway more sentiment back into Argentina owing to the World Cup he single-handedly won for the football-loving nation in 1986. So far, Messi hasn't been able to match that feat. His best so far is the World Cup final loss to Germany in 2014, but he'd get another chance to redeem himself in Qatar in a few months' time. Hopefully he'd finally be able to put the argument to rest. Becoming the GOAT. Messi outdid himself and every other player to ever kick the round leather game when he scored a total of 91 goals for club and country in the 2012 calendar year alone. In recognition of Messi's achievement, the previous record holder, Gerd Müller, who scored 85 goals in 1972, said, "My record stood for 40 years, 85 goals in a year, and now the best player in the world has broken it, and I'm delighted for him. He is an incredible player, gigantic." Rivalry with Cristiano Ronaldo. It's probably impossible to explore Messi's career without mentioning Cristiano Ronaldo. The Portuguese arrived at Real Madrid in 2009 and rivaled Lionel Messi on all fronts for many years to come. They were both in a league of their own, creating and breaking records for fun. They pushed each other to the limit, and it was fun for the neutrals who almost lost count of their goals and awards tally. "I pushed him, and he pushed me," Ronaldo said about their rivalry after departing Real Madrid for Juventus in 2018. "It was a beautiful rivalry," Messi added. "I miss Cristiano in La Liga." Barcelona exit. Messi would go on to leave Barcelona and join PSG in August 2021 after the Catalan club couldn't afford to offer him a new contract. Despite FC Barcelona and Lionel Messi having reached an agreement and the clear intention of both parties to sign a new contract today, this cannot happen because of Spanish La Liga regulations on player registrations, a Spanish media house reported. One of the most iconic sports fairy tales had ended acrimoniously, leaving us with more questions than we could answer. Could Barcelona have done more to keep him? Should he have played for Barcelona for free? Will the exit affect his legacy at the club? Time will tell. But one thing is certain, Lionel Messi will go down as the best player to ever don a Barcelona shirt, and perhaps the greatest footballer of all time. Thanks a lot for watching the video to the end. Be sure to check out our next highlighted video here for you, and we will see you there.